Guys, I was literally just having a very serious conversation with God. First and foremost, I want to say hi, guys. Happy Sunday. I hope you guys are well. But I was having a very serious conversation with God. Last night before I went to bed, I was praying and I saw vultures. Vultures or vultures. I'm not sure how to pronounce the bird. But it's the same birds that you see in Snow White. I was praying and I saw, you know, in Snow White when you see those two birds and they're like monitoring spirits. Those birds were being used as monitoring spirits, right? And when Snow White was going in the forest, those birds were looking down at her. And I saw that in my vision. And then I opened my eyes. I'm like, God, why are you showing me this bird? I'm like, let me start praying again. I started praying again. I saw the birds again. Okay, and God told us about a python and stuff like that. So obviously I know like there's some serious warfare going on, monitoring spirits and all of that stuff. But today I was having a serious conversation with God, and it's just so sad that I even have to mention this, but I just want to prepare you guys. Listen, just be prepared for people to downplay your testimony. They're going to downplay your testimony. A lot of people don't believe in witchcraft. They don't believe in black magic. They think that stuff is fake. That stuff's not real. But you have to remember something. A lot of what people don't experience, they're not going to believe. You get what I'm saying? How can someone believe in the spiritual realm if they don't even have access to it? You see what I'm saying? How can someone believe in the gift to see and hear if they don't have that gift? How can someone believe in spirits if they don't see spirits? You see what I'm saying? How can someone believe that witchcraft exists if they have not experienced it? How can they believe that black magic exists if they haven't experienced it? A lot of people, they don't believe this stuff because they haven't experienced it. So a lot of you guys, you know, your testimony is not normal. You're not an ordinary person. And I've said this so many times to you guys, and I'm speaking facts, and God has said this so many times. You are not an ordinary person. Look at Elijah, look at Joseph, look at Daniel, look at David, okay? Look at Paul, okay? Look at all the prophets in the Bible. Look at Esther. They were not ordinary people. None of them were ordinary. A lot of them went through the most hardest testimonies, okay? You look at Job. A lot of them went through the most hardships, okay? And their testimonies was not no normal testimony. It's not no normal obstacle. The type of testimonies they have, you know it's a miracle. You know that God was working in their life, because the only way they overcame these events is through a miracle. It's through God. Your testimony is not normal, guys. Like, you don't have no ordinary, just normal testimony. It's not, I got robbed. It's not, you know, I got robbed. It's not, you know, this happened, that happened to you. Your testimony is like a movie. Your testimony is so rare and so out of this world that a lot of people are going to downplay it because they haven't experienced it. And what God and me were talking about is some people, they downplay it because they haven't experienced it. And some people, they downplay it because they're in denial. Okay, they don't like to believe in warfare. Like, they think if you talk about warfare, if you keep focusing on warfare, it's going to happen to you. Not realizing that warfare can happen to you just by you not even doing anything. Warfare can be caused from someone else because everybody has free will. The devil's going to always use other people to attack you. Warfare can happen through a jealous person, through someone who has a spirit of envy. Warfare can happen through family bloodlines, through witchcraft that was placed upon your family that you had nothing to even do with. It's affecting your generation and you're the one that has to fight it. Warfare can happen any type of way. You don't have to do anything for warfare to happen to you. You see what I'm saying? But the people that are going to downplay your testimony are those that haven't experienced it, so they won't believe it. Those who are just sweeping it under the rug because they don't want to believe it. And then those, sad to say this, but those who envy your testimony. Because your testimony, it's sad to say this, but people do envy other people's testimonies. Because the way how people see it is, the bigger the testimony, the bigger the battle, the bigger the rewards, the bigger the blessing. That's how they see it. And if they see that you have a testimony that is outrageous, that is out of this world, that is like look at Noah. Noah had a big testimony, okay? When you read the book of Noah, you would think it's just, you know, it's not real, or you would think that it's just something that you would see in a movie, but it actually happened. When you read the book of Job, same concept. When you read the book of Exodus, same thing. Those are big testimonies. Those are big life-changing events. Some people, they go through things. It's like, listen, no one's testimony is basic. Everybody goes through stuff, and trust me, pain is pain. There's no, you know, like, it's like, you know, comparing pain is bad and everything like that, because getting hurt. No one should be, getting hurt. No one should be put in a position to where they're crying, to where they're upset, you get what I'm saying? No one should ever be put in that position. But then there's some experiences that are so traumatic that if somebody else was in your shoes, they would not make it. If somebody else was in your shoes, they would not even know how to survive. You get what I'm saying? They wouldn't even last another day because it would have been too overwhelming for them. That's why God only gives you what you can handle, right? So there's some people's testimony that literally you would think it was just a lie. You would think it's just a movie. That's how big their testimony is. That's how dramatic their testimony is. That's how traumatic their testimony is. And a lot of people, not even a lot of people, but some people, the reason why they downplay your testimony is because some people do envy your testimony, because they know when they hear your testimony, it kind of makes them feel like their testimony isn't good enough. It makes them feel like, wait, my testimony is not, is not unique. My testimony is like the other people's testimony. My testimony is like, the other 4 women in my church. My testimony is similar to theirs. We have similar testimonies, but when I hear that person's testimony is just crazy. Someone tried to kill them. Someone tried to poison them. Someone did witchcraft on them. That's like a whole movie. There's no way that testimony is real. They will downplay your testimony because their testimony is not as big as your testimony, which is sad to say because it shouldn't even be like that. But unfortunately, that's how some people are. They will downplay your testimony. Listen, God doesn't want you to hold back. God wants you to continue to speak up. I have another message I'm going to put out, okay? God wants you to continue to speak up and not to be afraid to share your testimony. A lot of people are going to downplay your testimony because they want to shut you up. They want to shut you up. Why? Because some of the same people who are downplaying your testimony are the same ones doing the witchcraft on you. Some of the same people that are downplaying your testimony are envious of your testimony. Some of the same people that are downplaying your testimony, they don't even have any access to the spiritual realm. They think they have access to the spiritual realm. But if you have access to the spiritual realm, you would know 100% that black magic and witchcraft is real. If you have the eyes to see in the spiritual realm, you would 100% know that stuff is real. You would 100% know that black magic is real. Do you get what I'm saying? But a lot of people, they don't want to blow their own cover. So they hide it, or they sweep it under the rug, or they run away from it because they don't want to admit that it exists. Why? Because they don't want to admit that your testimony is just unique. Your testimony is literally what these writers be writing about in the movies. Your testimony is what they have, the sequels they have on Netflix. Your testimony is literally life-changing. Your testimony is a whole book. I've heard from people all the time that say stuff, I've been trying to write my book, or I've been trying to do this, and a lot of people will downplay my testimony and tell me not to say this in the book, not to write this in the book, because they're saying it's not real. I'm like, a lot of these people envy you because they know that your book is going to sell, because your testimony is not normal. Your testimony is unique. You get what I'm saying? And sad to say this, but keep speaking up. Keep speaking up. Don't be afraid to share your testimony. A lot of people are going to downplay, but don't let that discourage you. Don't let people gaslight you and make you think that what's going on in your life is not real, or what's happening to you spiritually is not real. It's real. Everything is spiritual before it becomes physical. You get it? Everything is spiritual before it becomes physical. Even the battles that you're fighting in the physical, they were 10 times worse than the spiritual. You see what I'm saying? What you're fighting right now in the physical is just the after effects, and what you're fighting is not as big as what was not even what was supposed to, but what they tried to get to come through in the physical. That's why they always manifest a lot of the stuff that's happening in your life in the spiritual, these witch doctors and all that. You see what I'm saying? Listen. Don't let no one downplay your testimony. Continue to do what you're doing, okay? I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.